Of all things to teach me a lesson, why on earth would it be cancer? I never thought that I could learn life's most dire lesson from something I thought I'd never face. And if you're like me, and if you have faced breast cancer or you have lost someone close to you that faced breast cancer and lost the battle, then you'll know where I'm coming from. I had imagined that my mama and my brother, all of us having all the time in the world, right? Because normally that's what we do. We go about our day and our life, and we don't think about all of the things out there that could possibly go wrong. We take minutes and seconds and moments and hours and days and years for granted without realizing that the next moment is not a promised moment. That was something that I had to understand. Breast cancer taught me so many things, and I can sit here and go on and on and on and on about the things that breast cancer taught me, but I had imagined me and mama and brother having all the time in the world to do the things tugging on heartstrings, time to bring imaginary trips to reality, and to have more I love yous than I miss yous. But out of all the things I'd imagined, death was not one of them. And honestly, I never pondered death until death began pondering me. Hi, I'm author Katie Gates, and I learned so many things from breast cancer. In 2018, my mother, my best friend, met cancer for the first time. She was not prepared to meet cancer, but she was definitely prepared to beat cancer. And in that same year, in 2018, she met cancer. In that same year, I found the superpowers that I'd longed to have when I was a girl. I'll never forget the day of my mother's diagnosis. Because see, this isn't about me having breast cancer. It's about my mother, my best friend who had breast cancer. But just because I didn't have it physically in my body, I felt my mother. I felt the woman that gave birth to me 42 years ago. I felt her ups and her downs. I was there through it all. Her pains became my pain. Her yearning to live became my yearning for her to live. So in 2018, my mother fought her battle with breast cancer, and I'll never forget the day of her diagnosis. As the doctor looked at my mother and said, "We found a small lump in your breast, and it appears to be cancerous." My mother's face went from enthusiastic, positive, to sullen and sunken. And me, being the daughter that I tried to be, I swallowed the boulder in my throat. And I looked at my mother and I said, "Everything is going to be okay. God is on our side." That was a hard pill to swallow because we're human. And I personally hate using that phrase because I feel like when we utilize the phrase, we kind of diminish the greatness that's been placed within us. But at that moment, I had to swallow the boulder. And although I was feeling sad and I was feeling hopeful yet not sure at the same time, I had to find and embrace those superpowers that I wanted so bad as a girl in that moment. My mother was sad. Her strength turned to weakness in that moment. She was fearful. I couldn't dare cry. No. I wanted to, but I couldn't dare cry because I had to be her strength. I had to be super in that moment. And if you have been here and done this, then you understand what I'm saying. My mama still looked sad when I told her, "Don't worry, God is on our side." And the months and the years passed, and I take my mother to and from treatment. You know, she's tired, I'm tired, just trying to make everything work while still keeping my faith, constantly praying, "God, help my mother, heal my mother." So back and forth to treatment. And we lived about 2 hours away from treatment. So it was a long battle for the both of us, but it was so worth it. I do it again and again and again if I had to. So after the 2 years or almost 3 years of treatment, My mother no longer needed care. It was the greatest day, one of the greatest days of my life, shall I say. I remember upon departing the treatment center, she rung the bell. She had beat cancer. She beat breast cancer. And I was like, yes, yes, we did it. We did it. We did it. I was so filled with joy. She was looking amazing. Her spirits were high. And I was like, thank you, Father. Thank you. But there's always a but. It can just never go smooth. The trick of the disease is to take up spot or to take up rest in another area in the body, such as the liver, without paying rent. It just takes up rest. It unpacks its bags and it just stays there. No hello, no thank you for allowing me to rest in your body. No, how much can I pay you a month for rent? Nothing. It just takes up rest and it takes over your body. That's the trick of the disease. And so my mother had that battle. And so she tried fighting again, and eventually, a strong-willed woman, my mother found life slipping from her frail bones. She fought like the champion that she is, but life was slipping from her bones. And as I watched her grow weaker, deciding to rest in the comforts of her own home, she prepared herself to do the one thing she thought she'd never have to do, at least not so soon. She gave me the ultimatum. Not an ultimatum, but the ultimatum. Imagine having to look at your child because you know that death is sitting beside you, vying for your attention, and your child is sitting here vying for your attention, and you had to look at your child and give her or him an ultimatum, the one you never thought you'd have to give so soon. But my mother did. Her ultimatum to me was when she looked at me and she said, I need you to live while you still have life in your bones. I need. Need is a strong, strong word. She didn't say, I want you to live or I hope you live. She said, I need you to live. Need is like you don't have a choice because I'm depending on you to do something. Someone else is depending on you to survive, to thrive, to live, to do this or to do that. And then she said, if you don't, death you will surely meet. If not watching her die was frightening enough to me, I have to say I think that was more frightening. Because see, I had already came to terms with my mother's death. She taught me about death when I was a young girl. I'd learned all about death. So I knew that death had came to meet my mother. But her telling me, I need you to live or death you will surely meet was not only frightening as heck, it was that aha moment that I needed. And because my mother's so smart in her own powerful and unique way, she knew it. In that moment, out of all of the wisdom she'd shared with me throughout my life, I had my aha moment in that moment. In other words, my mother was saying to honor life. This is what cancer taught me. Cancer came, sat with my mother. Cancer was here and death was here and I was here. And all of these things combined taught me to honor this life, to honor my life. I learned to take the chance. Guys, don't just entertain success, go for success. Why sit and entertain something? You don't know if that next minute or moment or hour belongs to you. So why sit and waste time and entertain the thought if you're not going to do it? Why entertain it? We're wasting time. I learned not to waste my time because my time here on this plane is precious. I learned not to ignore the wisdom that my mother was feeding me, although she was dying and could not intake food. She had got to that point. My mother couldn't intake the nutrition she needed to sustain her life. Although she couldn't intake nutrition, she was feeding me. Do you know how powerful that is? She was feeding me in that moment. So I learned not to ignore the wisdom she was feeding me, and that breath is my ultimate gift, and that living while life is still present is my responsibility, just like it's your responsibility. I learned to birth the dreams, to hope, to have faith, to fall, and to get up again and again and again. That's what I learned. Who's counting my failures but me? These were my aha moments. This is what cancer taught me. So although it took my mother, my best friend, a precious soul, my mother had looked at me and she prepared me for her death. And she prepared me for success by feeding me the wisdom, although she was too weak to intake nutrition. That is powerful. That's a powerful thing. So while I did not face breast cancer myself, it was not within my body. I watched my mother face it and conquer it like a champion. Now, my mother lost her life. She lost the battle in 2020. And tomorrow, because I'm recording this video on October 17th, 2022, tomorrow, October 18th, is my mother's birthday. And I honor her by breathing, by living, by honoring my life, by not taking my time here for granted, by listening to her wisdom. I want you to do the same. Whatever it is that comes your way, whether it's cancer, death, anything that comes your way, take the lesson. Yes, you're gonna face anger and fear and all of those things, but at the end of it all, take the lesson. Allow it to teach you something great and then expound upon it, because that's all we can do here in this life. Take the lesson, take the wisdom, and employ it. I'm author Katie Gates, and thank you so much for being here. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I hope that this has helped you in some way. I hope that it has touched your heart in some way. If it has, leave me a comment telling me how it has helped you, or if you face a similar experience, let me know. I'd love to read the comment and I will definitely answer. Also, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This lets YouTube know that you want to see more of me, which I hope that you do. And again, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, bye.